आप सबका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। और ये सत्र एक ही साथ 3 अलग अलग सिराओं को जोड़ता है। लगता है कि ये 3 अलग अलग दुनिया है, लेकिन हमारे इस सत्र में जो लेखक हैं वो स्पिरिचुअलिज्म को, कल्चर को और लिटरेचर को, इन तीनों चीज़ों को मैं देख रहा था कि इन तीनों चीज़ों पर समान रूप से लिखते हैं। तो इसमें थोड़ी सी बात जोड़ दूं कि प्रेम प्रधान सर का हमारे बीच हैं, और उन्हें ये बात किसी तरह से पहुंची कि पेपर प्रेजेंट करना जैसा कुछ है। सो एक्चुअली द फॉर्मेट ऑफ दिस program is discussion or sharing your viewpoints, but he is interested to present a paper, and it will take hardly 7 to 10 minutes, right, sir? And then we'll uh, continue with in a discussion format, right? So I'd like to just request Pradhan sir, please come and share his paper.
I express my heartfelt welcome to you all, the Honorable President, Chairpersons of the session, Honorable guests from Nepal, India, being held in this beautiful ground of Lord Pashupatinath Temple, situated on the lap of Himalayas in the holy land of Nepal. Please accept my warm, humble greetings to you all once again. समय समयमा भारतका विभिन्न सामाजिक, साहित्यिक, धार्मिक, सांस्कृतिक सङ्घ संस्थाहरू साथै भारत सरकारको संस्कृति विभाग मन्त्रालय अन्तर्गत साहित्य अकादमी नयाँ दिल्ली अनि नेपालका विभिन्न साहित्यिक, सामाजिक, धार्मिक, सांस्कृतिक सङ्घ संस्थाहरू एवं नेपाल सरकारको प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठानद्वारा यस प्रकारको अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय स्तरका साहित्यिक एवं विविध विषयका उत्सव र समारोहहरूमा दुई देशका नागरिकहरूले गैर सरकारी वा सरकारी तौरमा अंश ग्रहण गरिरहेका छन्। यस्ता समारोहहरू अनि सम्मेलनमा विभिन्न साहित्यकारहरू, सामाजिक कार्यकर्ताहरू एवं विभिन्न विषयका विशेषज्ञहरूका सहभागिताले दुई देशका भाषा, साहित्य, कला, सङ्गीत, नृत्य अनि संस्कृति आदान प्रदान भइरहेको तथा तथ्य सर्वविदित छ। यस्ता उत्सवले दुई देशका नागरिकहरूमाझ भाइचारा, विश्वास, आत्मीयता, प्रेम एवं सद्भावना अझ सुदृढ र कसिलो भएर जाँदैछ। ऐतिहासिक दृष्टिकोणले हेर्दा पौराणिक कालदेखि नै भारत र नेपालको सम्बन्ध गहिरो रूपमा रहिआएको छ। सामाजिक, भौगोलिक साथै पारस्परिक, वैवाहिक अनि पारिवारिक सम्बन्धले पनि हामीलाई धेरै नजिक बनाएको छ। त्यसैले यी दुई देशका नागरिकहरूका पौराणिक कालदेखि नै नग्न मासु चाहिँ मेरै बसेका छन् अनि उनीहरूमाझ आस्था, विश्वास र भरोसा धेरै झ्याङ्गिएर गएको छ। राजनैतिक दृष्टिकोणले हेर्दा पनि भारत र नेपालमाझ भएको सन्धिहरूले दुई देशका नागरिकहरूमा भाइचारा बढाएको छ। दुई देशका नागरिकहरूमा कुनै रोकटोक नभई दुई देशका भूमिमा आवाज जवाब गर्दछन्। नेपाल भारतको उत्तर दिशामा अवस्थित एउटा स्वतन्त्र सार्वभौम राष्ट्र हो। यो राष्ट्रलाई विदेशीहरूले कहिले पनि आक्रमण गरेर आफ्नो अधीनमा राखेन। आफ्नो मर्यादामा बाँच्ने वीर साहसी नेपालीहरूमा आत्मसम्मान भएकोले उनीहरूले आफ्नो राष्ट्रलाई सुरक्षित राखेका छन्। नेपालको उत्तरी दिशामा विशाल हिमालय पर्वतमाला पूर्वदेखि पश्चिमसम्म नै फैलिएको छ। विश्वको सबैभन्दा अग्लो पर्वत सगरमाथा, सुन्दर पर्वत कञ्चनजङ्घा, माछापुच्छ्रे, धवलागिरी आदि नेपालका गौरव हुन्। हिमले पुरिएको पर्वतमाला अति सुन्दर, आकर्षक छन्। यसबाहेक यहाँका विस्तृत पहाड, खोला, नाला, नदी, हरिया वनभूमि, समतल भूमि, कृषि भूमि, औषधि वनस्पति अनि झार जङ्गलले नेपाललाई अझ सुन्दर र शोभायमान बनाएको छ। यहाँका चराचुरुङ्गीहरू विश्व प्रसिद्ध छन्। घरेलु र जङ्गली पशु, डाँफे, मुडाल र अन्य पशु, कीट पतङ्ग, विभिन्न प्रकारका फुलहरू, लाली गुराँस, चाँप, सुनाखरहरू आदिले सजिएको नेपाल प्राकृतिक रूपमा पनि सुन्दर र आकर्षक छ। यस देशको पर्यावरण अनि परितन्त्र प्रणालीले शुद्ध हावा, शुद्ध पानी, शुद्ध माटो र शुद्ध परिवेश सृजना गरेको छ। नेपालको उत्तरी दिशा हिमालय पर्वत अनि पहाडी इलाकाबाट उत्पन्न भएका खोला, नाला र नदीहरूले नेपाललाई समृद्ध बनाएको छ। यो खोला, नाला, नदीहरू नेपालको समतल भूमि हुँदै भारतको विशाल भूमिमा फैलिएको छ। यो खोला, नाला अनि नदीहरूले भारत भूमिलाई सुन्दर मात्र बनाएको छैन, तर कृषि भूमिलाई पनि उर्वर बनाएको छ। यहाँका कृषकहरू खेतीपाती गर्न सहज भएको छ। नदीहरूमा ड्यामहरू निर्माण गरी सिँचाइ व्यवस्था साथै जलविद्युतको उत्पादन अनि मानिसहरूलाई खानेपानी उपलब्ध गराइएको छ। यसरी भौगोलिक रूपमा पनि भारत नेपालसँग धेरै नजिक छ अनि प्रकृतिले पनि हामीलाई अझ नजिक बनाएको छ। विश्व प्रसिद्ध सगरमाथा पर्वत, भगवान बुद्धको जन्मभूमि लुम्बिनी अनि माता सीताको जन्मभूमि जनकपुर नेपालको चिनारी हो। विशाल हिमालय पर्वत शिव भगवानको वासभूमि हो। महाभारत कालमा 5 पाण्डवहरू हिमालको विभिन्न स्थानमा गुप्तवास बसेका हुन्। नेपालका विभिन्न धार्मिक स्थानहरू जस्तै पशुपतिनाथ, मुक्तिनाथ, पाथिभरा, जनकपुर धाम, गोसाईकुण्ड, हलेसी महादेव, कालिन्चोक, भगवती माता, मनोकामना मन्दिर, लुम्बिनी, स्वयम्भूनाथ स्तूपा आदि स्थानहरू हिन्दू अनि बौद्ध धर्मका आस्थाका प्रतीकहरू हुन्। यसरी नै भारत भूमिमा स्थित जगन्नाथपुरी, काशीका विश्वनाथ मन्दिर, वैष्णोदेवी, तिरुपति, केदारनाथ, चारधाम आदि धार्मिक स्थानहरू अति महत्त्वपूर्ण छन्। दुई देशका नागरिकहरू, भक्तजनहरू प्रत्येक वर्ष हजारौँको सङ्ख्यामा यी पवित्र धार्मिक स्थानहरूमा दर्शनको निम्ति भ्रमण गर्छन्। यस्तो धार्मिक भ्रमणले दुई देशका नागरिकहरूमाझ सद्भावना, मित्रता र विश्वासको भावना झङ्गिँदै गइरहेको छ। नेपाली शिल्पकला, वास्तुकला, चित्रकला, सङ्गीत, लोकनृत्य, नेपाली संस्कृति अनि नेपाली भाषा साहित्यले नेपाली जातिलाई विश्वमा चिनाउँछ। नेपाली जातिमा पनि विभिन्न जातहरू छन्, जहाँ विभिन्न जातका संस्कृति ढकमक्क फुलेर सिङ्गो जाति बनेको छ। नेपालीले आफ्नो परम्परा, जातीय संस्कृति, गीत सङ्गीत अनि आफ्नो भाषालाई अक्षुण्ण राखेको छ। पौराणिक कालदेखि नेपाल र भारत भूमिमा हिन्दुत्वको विकास भएकोले हिन्दू धर्म, हिन्दू दर्शन अनि हिन्दुत्वको सुरक्षा भएको छ। साथै यहाँ बौद्ध धर्म अनि बौद्ध दर्शन पनि सुरक्षित छ। यहाँका मानिसहरू देशप्रति आस्था राख्छन् र देशभक्त छन्, देशको गौरवमाथि विश्वास राख्छन् अनि देशप्रति राष्ट्रिय भावना उद्गार गर्छन्, राष्ट्रियतालाई सम्मान गर्छन्। भारत अनि नेपालका मानिसहरूमा समान जातीय र राष्ट्रिय भावना छन्। कलिङ्ग साहित्य उत्सव विगत 10 वर्षदेखि सुरु भएको हो। उडिसा भारतको एक समृद्ध राज्य हो, जसको भाषा, साहित्य, कला, सङ्गीत, नृत्य अनि संस्कृति अति धनी छ। उडिसा राज्यबाट सुरु भएको यो कलिङ्ग साहित्य अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय रूपमा प्रसिद्ध छ। भारत बहुभाषीय, बहुजातीय अनि बहुसंस्कृतिको फुलबारी हो। आज नेपालको माटोमा भइरहेको यो अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय उत्सवले दुई देशका भाषा, साहित्य, कला अनि संस्कृतिलाई अझ नजिक बनाएको छ। नेपाल र भारतमाझ भएको कलिङ्ग उत्सव सर्वप्रथम हो। यो उत्सवमा साहित्यकारहरूमाझ भेटघाट, वार्ता, कविता पाठ, विचारहरूको आदान प्रदान, गीत सङ्गीत अनि संस्कृतिको झाँकीहरूको प्रदर्शन हुनेछ अनि यसले हामीमाझ हार्दिकता, मित्रता, प्रेम अनि विश्वासको भावना बढाएर हाम्रो सम्बन्धलाई समृद्ध अनि बलियो बनाउनेछ भन्ने धारणा हामीमा छ। कलिङ्ग साहित्य उत्सवले विश्व साहित्य विकासमा उल्लेखनीय काम गरिरहेको छ। यो वर्ष काठमाडौँमा आयोजित सर्वप्रथम कलिङ्ग साहित्य उत्सवले नेपाल र भारतको मित्रतालाई अझ सुदृढ गर्दै भाषा, साहित्य, कला, नृत्य, सङ्गीत र संस्कृतिको विकासमा थप योगदान पुर्याउनेछ भन्ने कुरामा हामी विश्वस्त छौँ। यो उत्सव यहाँकै नेपाली भाषा, साहित्य, सङ्गीत, नृत्य, कविता, कला अनि संस्कृतिमाथि केन्द्रित हुनेछ। भारत सरकारको संस्कृति विभाग अन्तर्गत साहित्यिक संस्था साहित्य अकादमी अनि सङ्गीत कला विभाग अन्तर्गत ललित कला अकादमीले भारतीय भाषा, साहित्य र कलाको विकासमा उल्लेखनीय काम गरिरहेको छ। साहित्य अकादमी केन्द्र सरकार संस्कृति विभाग अन्तर्गत एक स्वशासित साहित्यिक संस्था हो र यसमा सरकारको हस्तक्षेप हुँदैन। भारतका विभिन्न भाषाहरूमध्ये 24 भाषाहरूलाई साहित्य अकादमीले भारतको आधुनिक भाषाको रूपमा मान्यता प्रदान गरेको छ। ती भाषाहरूमध्ये नेपाली भाषालाई पनि सन् 1975 सालमा अकादमीले भारतको आधुनिक भाषाको रूपमा मान्यता प्रदान गरेको छ। त्यसरी नै भारतका विभिन्न भाषाहरूमध्ये 22वटा भाषाहरूलाई भारत सरकारले भारतको राष्ट्रिय भाषाको रूपमा संवैधानिक मान्यता प्रदान गरेको छ। ती 22वटा भाषाहरूमध्ये नेपाली भाषालाई पनि भारतको राष्ट्रिय भाषाको रूपमा 20 अगस्त 1992 सालमा भारत सरकारले संवैधानिक मान्यता प्रदान गरेको छ। भारतीय नेपालीहरूको लामो सङ्घर्षपछि नेपाली भाषालाई साहित्य अकादमी साथै भारत सरकारले मान्यता प्रदान गरेको हो। यी दुई निकायहरूबाट नेपाली भाषाले मान्यता पाउनु भारतीय नेपाली भाषाहरूको निम्ति ठुलो गर्वको कुरो हो। नेपाली भाषा आज कुनै राष्ट्रको पेवा भाषा नभएर यो अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय भाषा बन्न गएको छ। नेपाली भाषाले भारतको संविधानमा मान्यता प्राप्त गरेपछि मैसूर भाषा संस्थान अनि बुक्स ट्रस्ट अफ इन्डिया जस्ता भाषासित सम्बन्धित सरकारी निकायहरूले नेपाली भाषा साहित्यको विकासमा धेरै उपलब्धिमूलक कामहरू गरिरहेको छ। यसबाहेक पनि संवैधानिक मान्यता भाषाहरूले पाउनुपर्ने धेरै उपलब्धिहरू साथै सहुलियतहरू पनि हामीले पाइरहेका छौँ। सबैभन्दा ठुलो कुरो के हो भने नेपाली भाषाले भारतको राष्ट्रिय अनि आधुनिक भाषाको रूपमा मान्यता प्राप्त गर्नु हाम्रो राष्ट्रियता र चिनारी पनि हो। 1924 सालमा स्थापित नेपाली साहित्य सङ्गठन दार्जिलिङ भारतको सबैभन्दा पुरानो साहित्यिक संस्था हो, जसले आफ्नो स्थापना कालदेखि नै नेपाली भाषा साहित्यको प्रचार प्रसार र संरक्षण विकासको निम्ति आज पर्यन्त काम गरिरहेको छ। सूर्यविक्रम गेवाली, पण्डित धरणीधर शर्मा कोइराला, डाक्टर पारसमणि प्रधान लगायत धेरै साहित्यकार अनि सामाजिक कार्यकर्ताहरूको प्रयास स्थापित भएको यो संस्था भारतीय नेपालीहरूको निधि हो। यस संस्थाका प्रथम सभापति हरिप्रसाद प्रधान थिए, जो पछि नेपालका प्रथम चिफ जस्टिसका रूपमा नियुक्ति भएका थिए। भारतका प्रथम प्रधानमन्त्री पण्डित जवाहरलाल नेहरू, साहित्य अकादमी दिल्लीका पूर्व अध्यक्ष डाक्टर सुनीत कुमार च्याटर्जी र विशिष्ट हिन्दी साहित्यकार डाक्टर शिवमङ्गल सुमन नेपाली साहित्य सम्मेलनका संरक्षक थिए। ठिक छ। On the last, so I'm concluding one page. विभिन्न भाषाका उत्कृष्ट कृतिहरू नेपाली भाषामा अनुवाद जम्मै साहित्य अकादमीले गरेको कामहरू हो। म जो यो अब म यहाँ भन्दिनँ र अलिकति के भन्छु भने लेखक समाजदेखि अछुत रहन सक्दैन। समय, परिवेश अनि नयाँ सोच र सृजनामा उसले समाजलाई केही दिन खोजिरहेको हुन्छ। साहित्यकारले साहित्यमा केवल सत्यता र स्वरूपलाई मान्यता दिएर असत्य, भ्रष्ट, अनैतिक सोचलाई खण्डन गरेको हुन्छ अनि व्यक्तिगत जीवनको मनोविश्लेषण र यथार्थलाई स्वीकार गरेको हुन्छ। लास्ट प्याराग्राफ। भारतीय नेपाली साहित्य भन्नाले भारतको बाटोमा भारतीय नेपालीहरूले सिर्जना गरेको साहित्य बुझिन्छ। नेपाली साहित्यको विकासको निम्ति भारतका विभिन्न स्थानहरूमा रहेका नेपालीहरूले साहित्यको विभिन्न विधाहरूमा काम गरिएका छन्। व्यक्तिगत रूपमा होस् वा विभिन्न साहित्यिक संस्थाहरू मार्फत होस्, हाम्रा लेखकहरूले निरन्तर रूपमा साहित्य सिर्जना गरिएका छन्। लेखकहरूले साहित्य सिर्जना गरिएका छन्। नयाँ विचार, सोच, अवधारणा अनि सिद्धान्तहरू साहित्यमा प्रयोग भइ नै रहेका छन्। अन्तमा हामी नेपाली भारतीयहरू आफ्नो भाषा, साहित्य अनि संस्कृतिको संरक्षण अनि विकासको निम्ति सचेत छौँ। विगत दिनहरूमा हामीले सङ्घर्ष गरेर नै नेपाली भाषालाई भारतको राष्ट्रिय र आधुनिक भाषाको रूपमा मान्यता प्राप्त गरेका छौँ, जो हाम्रो ठुलो उपलब्धि हो। समग्रमा भन्नुपर्दा हामी त्यति निराश हताश पनि छैनौँ। यो साहित्यिक उत्सवले अवश्य नै हामी माझ साहित्यिक सद्भावना, मित्रता, विश्वास अनि हार्दिकताको घडेरी निर्माण हुनेछ भन्ने कुरामा हाम्रो विश्वास छ। धन्यवाद।
बहुत शुक्रिया प्रेम प्रधान जी। प्रेम जी ने बहुत विस्तार से बताया कि बल्कि बहुत एफर्ट, बहुत कोशिश करके कैसे भारत और नेपाल के बीच के बहुत सारी समानता है। मैं आनंद आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ कि इसमें बहुत एफर्ट जो बातें प्रधान जी कह रहे हैं उसमें बहुत एफर्ट दिखता है नेशन स्टेट का, बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम द नेशन स्टेट एफर्ट्स naturally in a everyday life there are lots of points where India and Nepal connect to each other. I just want to share a couple of things so that our audience could easily understand what are those points on which literature, spiritualism, and culture are more or less same. And one more thing, just I want to add here. I was looking your write up, and your write up is, I'll not say against the set narrative, but it's completely a binary of the set narrative. So if even in India, your writing is a binary of the set narrative, how you can encourage that the culture, the spiritualism, and the literature itself is very much similar to Nepal and India.
Thank you very much. Yesterday I had briefly touched upon it. Uh, One question is there a common culture at all? I'm not talking about India and Nepal. I'm telling the larger Indian cultural narrative, what we say, which spreads from Afghanistan to the Far East. There is no single narrative. Any attempt to make a single narrative has always resulted in the counter narratives coming. So Nepal is the biggest example of that.
Yeah.
Nepal is the heartland of tantric mysticism, which is, if you really see, it's totally counter to the mainstream Hinduism which has spread, including, it's a later day development actually. If you see, after Buddha and Jaina, the predominant vegetarianism which came, even though 70% of the people are non-vegetarian, the prominence given to vegetarianism, the prominence given to the change of the Brahmanization of rituals, the tantric system, which has its deep roots in Buddhism and also prior to Buddhism, is actually a counter narrative.
Right.
And there is a parallel stream of this counter narrative all throughout the history of India. So, right from the Ramayana, Sita itself is a counter narrative of the patriarchal idea. The idea of Sita, what we have now, especially in the northern India, has come from Tulsidas Ji's Ramayana.
Right.
But Valmiki's Sita is different. The Sita of Kampar is different. The Sita of various other Ramayanas is different. And that Sita is what I believe to be the true spirit of Sita. If I can, I don't know how much time we have, but if I can get 5 minutes,
Sure.
I'll try to do this.
Please go ahead.
While doing the televised series of Siya Ke Ram, that also was a counter narrative. It was Ramayana done from Sita's perspective. So Sita, even though there are two narratives, it's a matter of how you draw the border of nation state. Sita is from Mithila, whether it is Janakpuri or Sitamarhi across the border 10 kilometers here or there. That's an irrelevant debate left to what you call the highly energized nationalists of today. I don't want to dwell into that. Culturally, it is the Mithila. Mithila is as a kingdom itself, how Valmiki had conceived it. Whether it is historical, ahistorical, mythological, it's a separate debate. There are different, Ramayana is a story of different families, right? If you really see, one is the Ayodhya, other is Kishkinda, other one is Lanka and Mithila. In which, see the difference. Let us go Kishkinda and Lanka. It's a different debate. We'll go it later. You need to have a lot of time for talking about that. But see Ayodhya. Ayodhya is a totally man-centric world, which is the natural, what you call the predominant narrative, what you see. So we talk about Maryada Purushottam. You talk about Dasarath, who yearns for a male child. He first had a female child, Shanta. This comes in Mahabharata's Vanaparva Ramabhakya, where Vedavyasa narrates the Ramayana, in which the reference of Shanta by name comes. So Shanta was the first born of Dasharatha, but he gives her away. There are slight variations, gives her away, gives her on adoption, what for and all. But the fact is that he gives her away to Lomapada of Anga. Lomapada, Romapada, either way it is pronounced, of Anga. Because there is a drought in Anga, and Shanta has to go and bring the Rishyasringa, who is the son of Vibhantaga. So Vibhantaga had lost his Brahmacharya from an Apsara. So he had brought up Rishyasringa by insulating her from women. See the narrative here. Tantric, the counter narrative what you talked about, reaching Godhood, reaching the union of God, Shakti and Shiva, it is all through asserting the importance of feminism. Where this Brahmanical narrative is, if you see a woman, you won't go there. So Rishyasringa is kept insulated. So this counterculture always goes there. No? So what Shanta does, Shanta goes there and brings her. This is the beauty of Hinduism also. If you talk about one thing is true, the counter of it is also true. So my writing comes from
Yes,
that.
I think I have just used the wrong word in the context. It could be that what kind of thing is being amplified or it, try to convert into mainstream. Counter narrative is all the time, but I think some of the elements are being suppressed or not accepted in so warmly, and some of them are left out, and some of the things which are accordingly to the patriarchal society or the
It depends on which part of the country gets the dominance in the narrative at a
right.
given period of history. That's all.
It's a matter of hegemony as well.
No, it depends on which. All kind of streams have got their prominence. There was a time when Tantrism was the most prominent religion across India. Even now, you can see the shades of it. I didn't complete see that, but I think time is there. That's why you interrupted, so I don't go to that because I wanted to go into the domain of how Sita defines the Indian or the Hindu womanhood rather than Draupadi or anyone else. Because not because she is the ideal wife, but because she is the most independent woman and the
Right.
strongest woman in Indian mythology. Not Draupadi, not Kunti, not even Shakti.
Right.
But Sita represents the embodiment of the feminine power. So I wanted to talk about that, but I think the lack of time, it might not be permitted. So I will wind up this here.
Anavita, I think you are smiling for from the very beginning, and I think you completely agree with what uh, Anand has said. So, just you want to explain or you want to say something different from what Nilkant has said? Sorry, Nilkant.
Uh, Before I begin, first of all, I want to express my heartfelt condolences and Shraddhanjali to Shatabdi Purush Satyamohan Joshi ji. So, I really, this is a moment of loss for both India and Nepal, a huge loss. And we are talking of Sanskriti, Dharma, culture, and spiritualism. And today is really a moment that we've lost that heritage. But I take this stage as first the opportunity to commit that whatever I can do in my capacity to continue with the legacy of Satyamohan Joshi ji, I'll definitely, I'm committed to both India-Nepal relations on that. Coming to why I was smiling, since almost a childhood, Sita has been my most favorite character, and more than that, it is a self journey to understand Sita. I listen to everyone, but still, it is just a narrative or it's just a perspective, but it is a self journey of understanding Sita, and it is an evolving journey. uh, I always argue, and at least this is what I say, that सीता ने अपने आदर्श चरित्र से श्री राम को मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम बनाया. And for me, I see it in different events of her life, and this is where I also feel that there is a very strong link between that India Nepal. I mean, you've touched upon Rishi Shringi, touched upon all the characters of Ramayana or Mahabharata. I cannot say that which part of Ramayana or Mahabharata or Charak Samhita which belongs to India or which doesn't belong to Nepal. So I think this is really a shared heritage. So that's one point I do want to make. Uh, there is that part in one of the previous sessions we did touch upon, that why we don't have women spiritual masters. And I think do come back again that Sita actually walked us and lived through to tell us that you don't become, you don't ask for it, you live it, and you are a living spiritual master. So there is that Sita. And then third linkage will quickly I'll touch upon. I'm born in a Jain family, married to a Palaghat Iyer, arrived in Nepal, and I've been practicing or learning Dasama Vidya. So for me, that evolving journey, it is very difficult for me to understand or rather to divide through border states. Where does the Shakti end and begin?
Right.
And you really have to see it in that comprehensive. And just one last shloka. So when we take any manglik कार्य से पहले एक संकल्प लेते हैं. And that sankalp actually says, I'll just take up 30 seconds and end there. It reads, Bharat Varshe, Bharat Khande, Aryavart Antargat, हिमवत खंडे नेपाल एक देशे इह पुण्य भूमि बोल के हम संकल्प लेते हैं. So imagine that this is embedded in way of life, that very difficult for us to even think of seeing it differently or seeing it through border states. However, this is what which has been in the just a session before, where we touched upon India-Nepal relations in context. A very important point emerged about youth and how they carry forward the civilization. What are the open issues between two states? And what emerges for me that we are interconnected because of sensitivity. At the same time, our emotions also play a role when it fuels against. But I think that is where the relations grow even stronger and we bond better.
And I think, if I'm not wrong, you were just talking about that religion, why it's so rigid, why don't you make it a little bit informal so that more and more you can be put
yesterday.
connected, right?
Yeah.
So we have it, Tulsi Divasa. Sir, yesterday you were talking about identity politics, literature and all. So I think we are talking too much about Hinduism and spiritualism. Apart from that, if we come back to the literature, how you find the politics of identity or the different voices apart from Hinduism, apart from spiritualism, and how those unnoticed voices are being represented. Is there any possibilities in coming days that these voices would be a part of mainstream voices, or whatever you think?
Thank you very much. मेरो अलिकति अवधारणा रामायण महाभारत त्यहाँका पात्रहरूसँग केही फरक छ. सीता र राम को पनि मेरो दृष्टिकोण फरक छ. सीतालाई रावणले हरेर लगिसकेपछि जब फर्काइन्छ अनि सीता फेरि लवकुशसँग छोराहरूलाई लिएर बाहिर निस्केको हुन्छ, बेलामा रामको राज्याभिषेकको समय आउँछ. रामको चरित्र यहाँ जनतामा लोकप्रिय हुने बढी छ. जिउँदो सीता जङ्गलमा छ, तर राज्याभिषेकको अवसरमा सुनको सीताको मूर्ति बनाएर राज्याभिषेक हुन्छ. र अब रामायणको घटनाक्रममा पनि भिन्न ढङ्गले सोच्ने भिन्न ढङ्गले हेर्ने दृष्टिकोण विकसित भइसकेको छ। यस अर्थमा सीताले आफूलाई रावणबाट सुरक्षित मात्र होइन, एउटा त महिला शक्ति र अधिकारको सदुपयोग गरेर आफूलाई सुरक्षित राखेको सन्दर्भ र रामको नामलाई लोकप्रिय बनाउनको निमित्त रामले मर्यादा पुरुष बन्नको निमित्त जिउँदो सीता जङ्गलमा दुईटा लब र कुश छोरा पाएर एक किसिमले तिरस्कृत भएकी छ भने राम जनतामा लोकप्रिय हुन, राम राज्यको कुरा गर्न, रामलाई त्यो तहमा पुर्याउनको निमित्त गरिएको जो काम छ त्यसमा अब हामीले एक स्वरूप विचार गर्नुपर्ने बेला आइसकेको छ। धर्मलाई पनि अब भिन्न दृष्टिकोणले आजको सन्दर्भमा हेरेर, आजको महिला चेतना, पुरुष र महिलाको बीचको समानताको दृष्टिकोणलाई ध्यानमा राखेर यो कथालाई पनि अथवा यो रामायणको त्यो कथनलाई पनि भिन्न ढङ्गले विश्लेषण र व्याख्या गर्नु अनिवार्य आवश्यक भइसकेको छ। मैले भन्नु खोजेको के, रामायणको विभिन्न पाठहरू छन् अनि त्यो चाहिँ लिखित पाठ पनि छ, अलिखित पाठ पनि छ। Being a folklorist myself, I have collected a lot of different versions of Ramayana, popular among the different ethnic groups living in different parts of the country here in Nepal. And I would like to tell you something very interesting, how Ramayana traveled from India up to Japan. And that is the northern route that has come from Bengal, Bihar, and Nepal, and to Tibet, China, Korea, to Japan. Ramayana had to travel by land. So it took about 650 years to reach Japan. And Ramayana, the Hindu, the other route is the route of Mahayana and Hinayana Buddhism. Hinayana Buddhism came towards north, and in Nepal is mixed up with Buddhist, Hinayana, Mahayana Buddhism, and went up at Tibet, China, again Japan. And I told you that it took 650 years. Southern route is the route of Hinayana, and also the route of Ramayana that went from Sri Lanka via Indian Ocean, reached to different Thailand, Indonesia, even in Malaysia. I have been to those countries, and they have also developed their version of Ramayana with them, and they have changed some of the characters there. Though in Thailand the king is Rama first, Rama second, Rama third, and Rama fourth. And if you go to Cambodia, because of the sea and ocean, and that was a shorter route. त्यसले गर्दाखेरि के भयो त भन्दा रामायण travel to northern and southern route, and years, how it took so many years, because it had to travel by land. Northern route is, so it took about 650 years. I have been to Japan. I was in Tokyo University, and I was in visiting professor there. I was in Kyoto University, and I tried to do some kind of comparative study and how even this, the symbolic meaning of different characters of Ramayana change with the change of place, with the change of the, that's more very much, I found very, not only interesting, very meaningful in the present context. And I have collected at least 9 or 10 different versions of Ramayana popular among the different ethnic groups of Nepal. And the character of Rama and Sita are different, and they try to color, according to their own cultural and social value systems, and made themselves their Rama and their Sita. And this is what is true, even with this, different version of Ramayana in different countries. So what I wanted to say to you is, I think we are not supposed to be confined in one Ramayana version. So we have to collect all those different versions of Ramayana. Even in Nepal, we have the folk version of Ramayana. And it's still very popular among the different people living both in hills, mountains, and plain areas. So another aspect of culture, and now I have to come to culture.
Sir, sorry, sir, I'm interrupting. We are running short of time, so we must have to include this session. And if you just want to add something within 1 to 2 minutes,
All right.
that would be better for us.
We have been, being a poet myself, I have been mentioning and using some of the characters of those Ramayana and Mahabharata in our poetry, not in the same form, but at the present context, what and how we have taken into and trying to give it out in poetic form. So, हाम्रो नेपाल र भारतको सम्बन्धमा निरन्तरता दिएर अगाडि बढाउनमा स्थानीयता अत्यन्त जरुरी छ। अनि स्थानीय मान्छेहरूले आफ्नो ढङ्गले रामायण र महाभारत मात्रै होइन, अरू हिन्दू कथाहरूलाई पनि आफ्नो ढङ्गले रङ्गाएर रूप दिएर आफ्नो बनाएको छ। So we have to be ready and we have to be liberal to accept all this different version of the different Ramayana, and not only of Mahabharata, even some other, as I told you earlier, different kind of fictions what we have. Though they are, some of them are historic, no doubt, but things have changed in course of the changes of the value system and the development of new technology, what we have been really following. यस कारणले गर्दाखेरि अनि अब कवितामा पनि नृत्य र उहरूमा पनि रामायण र महाभारतको सन्दर्भ मात्र होइन, अरू सन्दर्भहरू पनि प्रशस्त मात्रामा आएको छ। संस्कृतिलाई निश्चित रूपले हामीले एक रूपताबाट फुत्काएर विविधता स्थान अनुसार, जाति अनुसार अनि उनीहरूको विश्वास र आस्था अनुसार विविधताको रूपमा स्वीकार गर्नुपर्छ र त्यो चाहिँ सबैभन्दा सद्भाव जागृत गर्ने महत्त्वपूर्ण काम हुन्छ। धन्यवाद।
I'm really very sorry. I wanted to listen you more, but before declaring that session is going to wind up, I just asked to Anand Nilkanthan. I really wanted to listen you more and more, and but before concluding remarks, just add something what you were talking about earlier, and I interrupted.
No, I think that will take more time. I'll just add to what sir was telling,
Yeah,
just
please.
like because it was interesting. I was very curious to know that there are 900 Ramayanas in Nepal itself, because I have been for the last so many years collecting Ramayanas in the southern side. More than 300, 350 I would have collected. Totally different versions. My books and shows and films are based on that. So the southern route, what he was mentioning, which actually not from Sri Lanka, it started to go from Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, coastal Karnataka, then to Sri Lanka, because these are the places which had the ships which reached there. So one important difference is all these Ramayanas have carried. The major difference between the mountain route and the sea route is that the sea route one, Sita, most of them, Sita is the daughter of Ravana.
Okay.
It changes the entire perspective of Ramayana. So Sita is the daughter of Ravana. Now think about it. I don't want to explain more. Sita is the daughter of Ravana. So Ravana kidnaps Sita not because he is lustful. He wants to protect the daughter. This is not the main Brahminical or the Sanskrit translated versions which became popular. I'm talking about the folk versions which went by the ship, the tribal versions and other things. At least 32 of them clearly mentions. And this is what is played in Philippines. This is what is played in many of the island countries where the ships had gone. Even now Thai versions, even in all these things, when they do their play, they use this version that Sita is the daughter of Ravan. Thank you.
बहुत बहुत आप सबका शुक्रिया और बातचीत बहुत करनी बाकी रह गई है। मैं औपचारिक रूप से इस सत्र की समाप्ति की घोषणा करूं। मैं अपने उन दोस्तों को जो कि इसके अलावा सोशल मीडिया और डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म पर जुड़े हुए हैं, आनंद नीलकंठन की किताब जो असुरा टेल ऑफ वैंक्वेस्ट, मैं सजेस्ट करूंगा। आमतौर पर मुझसे पूछते हैं लोग कि इन दिनों क्या पढ़ना चाहिए, तो मैं इस किताब को पढ़ने के बाद, मतलब जो मैंने बाइनरी शब्द, व्हेन आई यूज द वर्ड बाइनरी, आई वाज कंप्लीटली मेस्मराइज्ड, and I would suggest to all my listeners, all my readers, please go through this book. You will feel completely different that how vision, knowledge, and the way of sharing become a part of miracle once you go apart from the set narrative or the pattern or stereo kind of thing. Thank you so much. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप सबका।
धन्यवाद। हामीलाई पनि यो कार्यक्रम अगाडि बढिरहोस् भन्ने नै थियो, तर सबैजना समयको परिधिभित्र बाँधिएका छौँ। यसका लागि म माफी माग्न चाहन्छु। अब हाम्रो अर्को सेसन स्टार्ट हुँदैछ, सेसन 20, सेसन सोसाइटी, लिटरेचर एन्ड सिनेमा रहेको छ। यो सेसनको सहजकर्ताको भूमिकामा हुनुहुन्छ कवि तथा साहित्यकार हेम प्रभासज्यू। आउनुहोस्, उहाँलाई जोरदार तालिका साथ यस मञ्चमा आमन्त्रण गरौँ। र वक्ताहरू हुनुहुन्छ हामीसँग लेखक, निर्देशक